bribery, fraud, and breach of trust charges.
The list of alleged wrongdoing is long and colourful. Pink champagne and cigars offered to him by a wealthy friend in return for political favours, and a quid pro quo relationship with a telecom tycoon in return for favourable news coverage. He's vowed to stay in office, and using perhaps the language of his close ally Donald Trump, he's called the investigation a witch hunt.
That's ABC's James Longman. Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg has now filed papers with the Federal Election Commission, another step toward a possible presidential run. ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Bloomberg has also filed to appear on the ballot in 5 states and counting, and is spending more than $100 million on ads and voter registration efforts in key states. This is all reportedly propelled by the billionaire's concerns about if the current frontrunners could actually defeat President Trump.
The parents of Otto Warmbier, who died after being imprisoned in North Korea, are now setting themselves on a mission
to hold North Korea responsible to recover and discover their assets around the world.
That's Otto Warmbier's father, Fred. The White House today holding a vaping summit, bringing together state officials, medical experts, and representatives from the vaping industry. You're listening to ABC News.
Tis the season to eat and be merry. If holiday enjoyment leaves you feeling painfully bloated, don't worry. Relief is here. Introducing Atrantil. Developed by a board-certified gastroenterologist, it relieves bloating where it starts, in the small bowel. That's why Atrantil works where other remedies don't. In clinical studies, 88% of bloating sufferers found Atrantil relieve their symptoms, and it's available over the counter without a prescription.
A friend recommended Atrantil, and I had great results. I was so bloated and full, it was miserable. But the product started to work almost immediately.
Atrantil is not another probiotic or digestive enzyme. It's made from a patented combination of powerful polyphenols. Plus, it's natural, vegan, gluten-free, and non-GMO.
Atrantil turns my holiday bloating right around.
Eat and be merry this season with Atrantil. Find Atrantil at Amazon.com, your local retailer, or for a special holiday offer, go to bloat411.com. That's bloat411.com.
Atrantil. A little bit of trouble for Tesla at the introduction of its new truck. That was a metal ball being thrown at and breaking a window in the so-called Cybertruck. It was supposed to be an unbreakable window.
Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk, the Cybertruck, an all-electric truck that can tow up to 14,000 pounds, will be in production in 2021 with a starting price of just under $40,000. ABC's Alex Stone says electric is huge at the LA Auto Show this year.
Every year, the LA Auto Show is full of loud music and big reveals.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2021 RAV4 Prime.
But this year, there's something missing: the gasoline engine.
Making the people's electric cars and SUVs for the millions, not just the millionaires.
Volkswagen, Ford, and Toyota are among the big companies here revealing new plug-in vehicles. Auto Trader's Brian Moody says all of the brands have to realize that's the way we're going.
They're going to have to, at some point in their life, come to the electrification conversation.
Alex Stone, ABC News at the LA Auto Show.
For more than a decade, North Pole, Alaska has celebrated the holidays with its Christmas in Ice. It's just something they do every year, a park full of ice sculptures. Well, this year it's been canceled. There's not enough ice on the local ponds to harvest for the sculptures. This is ABC News.
Are you more than $10,000 in debt? Feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill, staying in one place and never getting ahead with those minimum payments? Don't let the credit card companies bully you anymore. There are programs in place to help you get free of your debt, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. The program at Total Financial Freedom can help you get debt-free in months instead of decades. Call Total Financial now at 800-899-8922. That's 800-899-8922.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Don't waste another second. Stop by Jesse James Railroad Express and sample a delicious burger, club, hot dog, fresh salad, and much more. All orders are prepared fresh every day. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 7 till 4, Wednesday, 7 until 11 a.m. And now at Jesse James, delivery is available through DoorDash.com. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue, Rutherford, or call 447-4644. And Mondays only. Mention this ad and get a regular hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only 99 cents. This does not apply to DoorDash.com.
Friday afternoon, isolated to scattered rain mainly in our northern counties, and high temperatures back in the low to mid-60s. More rain is likely on Saturday, especially Saturday afternoon and evening. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
52 degrees currently. We have a 50-50 chance of rain tonight here in Foothills. Mostly cloudy with showers likely. Lows around 49 tonight. Not much cooler than it is right now. Chance of precip about 50%. And then the extended forecast for Sunday, rain's going away. Looks like it's mostly clear Sunday night on 33 for the low. Monday, mostly sunny, back up to 57, dropping to 35 Monday night. Tuesday, sunny skies, 59, dropping back down to 30 for Tuesday night. Looks like scattered showers possible on Wednesday, but Thanksgiving Day looks like it's all out of here. Just partly cloudy skies and highs around 58 and light wind for Turkey Day. And again, right now it's cloudy and 52 degrees. Jay Coombs is going to be on radio with me here in just a couple of moments. Talk about tonight's lineup of high school playoff games. But right now, ladies, let me remind you, and gentlemen too, today is the day for the one-day only Cozy Home Warehouse Sale. One day only today. And that starts at 10 o'clock this morning, a couple hours away from right now. It lasts until 5 this evening. Be 181 Duke Street, right beside Henson Building Material. You can stock up for the entire family for the holidays for your own use. You get blankets, sheet sets, bedding, pillows, comforters, throws, baby blankets, and so much more. So enjoy these incredible low prices, this one-day only sale today at Cozy Home, there on Duke Street, right beside Henson Building Material. It's where they've had their warehouse sales in the past. You know, they got a main location now, the downtown Florida City, but these one-day warehouse sales are going to be fantastic. So miss it today. That'll be a good one for you. All right, let's head to the phones. Talk with Jay Coombs, Mr. Friday Night. He's all excited about tonight's playoff games. Good morning, Jay Coombs. How are you doing?
Well, good morning, Jim.
Another Friday night high school football game.
Well, what's exciting about this, it is round 2 of the playoffs, and we still have 2 local teams involved in postseason play. And tonight is tough because I'd like to be in 2 different places at the same time, but they are a number of miles apart. Therefore, that's impossible. But I think we've got 2 really good matchups tonight. First of all, 2A playoffs. We've got Chase traveling up to Brevard tonight. Both of these teams are 10-2 overall. Chase finished up 4-2 in their conference. Brevard finished up 4-1. Just looking at the numbers, this is a great matchup. Now, Chase and Brevard have played each other for the past couple of years in the regular season. Brevard won both of those games, but I think they're going to find out this year's Chase team is a lot different than the Chase team they beat last year, 44-0. Brevard won that game 2 years ago by 8 points over the Trojans. So Chase tonight, seeded number 6, will travel up to Brevard to face the number 3 Blue Devils. Okay, I'm going out on the limb, but I like Chase's chances tonight. Don't know why, but I've got a gut feeling here. I will not be surprised if the Trojans advance to the 3rd round of the playoffs next week for the first time since 1998. Our feature game of the week tonight, we will be in Avondale. Thomas Jefferson Classical Academy Griffins, seeded number 3 in the West in the 1A playoffs. Last week they had the bye. They didn't have to play in the opening round. Tonight they are hosting the number 11 Albemarle Bulldogs. Now, Bulldogs come in here with an overall record of 5-7. They finished up 4-2. And that was good for a 3rd-place finish in their Yadkin Valley 2A conference. Griffins, of course, only the 1 loss this year. That means TJ is 10-1 overall, 7-1, and they finished in that 3-way tie, co-conference champions in the Southern Piedmont Conference. These 2 teams did play once before. It was 4 years ago in Avondale. TJ defeated Albemarle back in 2015. That year, the Griffins were seeded number 4. Bulldogs were seeded number 13, and it was a solid TJ win, 49-7. I think the key tonight for the Griffins, Albemarle does not have a lot of players on the rosters. They're kind of short as far as depth on the depth chart. But the one thing they do have, they have a quarterback and a running back who are both very, very good. If the Griffins' defense can man up to the challenge tonight and get some pressure on their quarterback, stop their running back, I think TJ's got a good chance to advance to the third round next week as well. So it's exciting. Also got to give props to RS Central. Yeah, things didn't turn out so well last week up at North Lincoln, but congratulations to the Hilltoppers on a great season, and it was good to see them make it back into postseason play for the first time in 3 years. So kind of excited about tonight.
Sure.
Not just one, but two local teams still in the postseason.
It does sound exciting. Jay, there is a possibility of rain. We're hoping it's going to hold off, but unless it's a real soaker, the game will go on, right?
I would assume so, and obviously Albemarle's coming some distance to play tonight. Yeah, I don't see any reason why they won't go ahead and play this as scheduled. Last I looked at the forecast, good possibility that the heavier rain will not get here until after we are done tonight in Avondale.
Yes.
And we may have some spotty showers, maybe a little bit of drizzle during game time. That's okay. Fans, bring the rain gear, bring the umbrellas. We may pop up the canopy tonight since we'll be in the outdoor press box there at TJ. But, temperatures are going to be fairly warm.
Yes.
We're going to be in the 50s during the game tonight, so that's going to be quite a bit warmer than what we've had for the past couple of weeks.
Let me ask you another technical question. The soaked field, rain on the field, does that help the home team or the visiting team?
Wow, Jim, if we knew the answer to that, we could be really rich. No, a lot of times you would say that a rain-soaked field helps the team that has primarily a running game. Both of these teams do have a pretty solid running game. Harmon Field out at TJ seems to drain really well. It would take a significant amount of rain to really cause big problems out there tonight. Love the way that field drains. I don't know what they did when they put that in, but drainage is really, really good.
Very good. Sounds good. And we'll look forward to that game tonight. We'll certainly have it on our web, on our YouTube page at www.59.com. That's the way it is. And you guys have it on Facebook. And there's a lot of ways to cover that game tonight, and we hope folks will do that.
Looking forward to it, Jim. Christian, Cliff, and I will be on the air at 6:45, 7:30 kickoff tonight.
All right, Jay. Thanks so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
All right, bye. Jay Combs, Mr. Friday Night, reporting in this morning about tonight's big games. We hope you'll follow those teams with us tonight. 14 minutes past 8.
Dreams are what the holidays are all about. And nothing says dreams like holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. It's a gift that offers you possibilities, the chance to dream. There's a certain magic about it. That feeling of knowing you could give someone a gift that could be so many things. Things the special person in your life has only dreamed of. Or better yet, hasn't even dreamt up yet. So whether it's for a friend, family member, or coworker, give the gift that lets someone dream this holiday season. Holiday scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With over $40 million in total prizes, there's a lot of dreams to give this holiday season. Gift them while you can. They won't last long. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.99 to 9.16. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Sleigh bells are ringing, and so are the holiday phone deals at Bark Mobile. Come in today and choose from free smartphones like the Samsung A10e or Moto G7 Play when you switch. Plus, more amazing discounts that'll help you spread even more cheer all season long. And with our nationwide service, you can reach anywhere you need to, from your next door neighbor to the North Pole. Stop by and let our elves help you slay the holidays today. Bark Mobile. Mobile made easy. Certain restrictions apply. See store for details.
Coming to the Foundation Performing Arts Center, The Drifters. 20 years of continuous hits, the first inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the second most successful recording group of all time. The Drifters. Saturday, November 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Tickets online at foundationshows.org or by phone at 286-9990 at the box office Tuesday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a night of beach music classics for shagging on the boulevard at the Foundation Performing Arts Center with the Drifters. Tickets at foundationshows.org and at 828-286-9990.
Go and enjoy that show tonight, tomorrow night at the Foundation. Let Russell know you appreciate these kind of performances at the Foundation. Good music from the Faz right here. Foundation shows tomorrow night with the Drifters.
Hello, this is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. Are you on disability? Or maybe you're on Medicare? Or maybe both? Come see me, Dwayne Hunt, at Insurance Service Associates about a Medicare Advantage product brought to you by Humana. Please give me a call, 245-5301 at Insurance Service Associates, 127 East Trade Street, Forest City.
When choosing a hospital or a health system, you should ask what quality and patient safety efforts are being implemented in that organization. For example, at Rutherford Regional Health System, several new quality and patient safety initiatives have been set in place to ensure an even greater level of care for its patients. Under the guidance of the Due Quality Network, Rutherford Regional has begun bedside shift reporting, which emphasizes better face-to-face communication with patients and families. Patient safety huddles also have been started to allow caregivers the opportunity twice a day to review risks of infection, falls, and other harms. An executive patient safety rounding allows our administrators to make sure our clinical staff has the tools they need to deliver great care. Rutherford Regional is proud to make quality and patient safety its top priorities. Hey, here's a huge moving sale, a yard sale going on today and tomorrow. 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. It's already kicked off here this morning. That's at 1885 Rock Road, Rutherfordton. They'll have furniture, appliances, clothing, pool table, foosball table, much, much more. Something for everyone. It's a moving sale. And if you need directions or more detail, just call 279-4662, and we'll look forward to seeing you at this big, huge moving sale, yard sale, today and tomorrow at 1885 Rock Road, Rutherford. You'll find something there for you, I'll bet you. All right, our report this morning from the Sheriff's Department was given to us by Deputy Lynn, and here it is.
Last 24 hours, Sheriff's Office responded to 115 calls for service. There's been 14 arrests. Currently has 180 in the county jail. On incident reports, we've got a break-and-entering felony and a larceny after break-and-entering reported by Keith Hatcher Melton. And on arrest reports, Alexis Queen Warner was arrested for intimidating a witness, was given a $10,000 secure bond. Joshua Nathan Cole was arrested for driving while license revoked, was given a $500 secure bond. Hunter Shaw Weeks was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor, was given a $10,000 secure bond. William Avery Melton Sr. was arrested for assault on a female, was given a $1,000 secure bond. Joe Dean Scruggs was arrested for violation of a court order, was given a $3,000 secure bond. James Stephen Devins Jr. was arrested for assault on a female, was given a $5,000 unsecured bond. Virgil Henry Oakes III was arrested for failure to appear on a misdemeanor, was given a $2,500 unsecured bond. Justin Allen Holland was arrested for breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering, was given a $20,000 secure bond. Robert Miller Lattimore was arrested for breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering, was given a $10,000 unsecured bond. And Stephen Elliott Weiss was arrested for parole violation and was given no bond. And that's all I got for you this morning.
Over a half-century of family-friendly broadcasting. This is WCAB AM 590 and the new 100.9 FM.
Daily Courier is reporting about a man being jailed on burglary and robbery charges. 46-year-old Spindale man was recently arrested on burglary and robbery charges stemming from an incident that occurred in Ellenboro in late October. According to the Sheriff's Department, during the early morning hours of October 28th, prior to 5 a.m., a burglary and robbery occurred at a residence on Sperlin Road in Ellenboro, where a wallet and cash were stolen. The residents of Sperlin Road home were present during the time of the robbery, though they were unharmed. The Sheriff's Office was able to develop two suspects, Walter Ashley Littlejohn of Ledbetter Road in Spindale and Ethan Tyler Calton, 27. Warrants for their arrest were taken out on October 30th. Calton was arrested on unrelated charges in Polk County and was incarcerated on November the 6th. He is currently waiting service from the Rutherford County warrants. Littlejohn was arrested at the intersection of Golf and Powerline Streets in Forest City, November 15th, 1 p.m. in a collaborative effort between the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office and Forest City Police Department. Littlejohn was charged with identity theft, 2 counts of obtaining property by false pretense, first-degree burglary, and common law robbery. He received a $150,000 secured bond. Calton is expected to receive similar charges. According to the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Public Offender Search, Littlejohn has an extensive arrest record which dates back to 1999. Over the years, he's been charged with disorderly conduct, assault by pointing a gun, second-degree trespassing, common law robbery, assault with a deadly weapon inflicting serious injury, and on the rap sheet continues. And yet he was still out on the street. 22 minutes after 8 o'clock right now, Rutherford County Schools received $15 million for construction, according to an article in the Daily Courier. Rutherford County Schools is one of 6 school districts in North Carolina that will receive money through the Needs-Based Public School Capital Fund. RCS will receive $15 million that will help fund construction of the RS Middle School. The official announcement was made Wednesday. In all, $73 million is being awarded to Rutherford, Camden, Graham, Hartford, Northampton, and Wilson counties. All are considered economically distressed by the state. So we're happy to get that money. They can call us what they want to call us, as long as they send money to us, right? That's some of the news from here and there this morning, and we'll have a sports update coming here in just a few. Be sure to remember our sports this weekend, high school football tonight. Thomas Jefferson and Albemarle at home at Thomas Jefferson. Chase is on the road to beautiful Brevard. And then on Saturday, UNC football against Mercer, 1:30 countdown to kickoff. And then on Sunday, it's the Panthers and New Orleans Saints, 12 noon on Sunday. Football all over the place. And by the way, those of you who've been asking, coming by, looking for them, they're here. The UNC Tar Heel calendars, basketball calendars, have arrived. And they've been delayed here for some while. I know you probably thought we weren't doing them this year, but they've just delayed them. Anyway, we have them. And we're going to have to limit them to 2 per person, please, because of the demand for them. So if you'd like to have one of those, please come by, and we'll make arrangements to get them for you. But please limit yourself to 2, no more than 2. If you don't need 2, that's fine. But please don't come and ask for a handful of them because we don't have that many to go around.
NCN Sports. Good morning. I'm Tony Bixby. James Graham threw 3 touchdown passes last night. Georgia Tech stopped a potential tying 2-point play with about 5 minutes remaining. beating North Carolina State 28-26. Tech led 21-3 at halftime and 28-13 to start the fourth quarter, but had to hold off the Wolfpack's late comeback. The game matched last-place teams in the ACC. For the Wolfpack and Coach Dave Doran, it means no bowl game this year.
I feel bad for our seniors. I love those kids, and for them not to have a bowl game. We're going to make this a special week for them last week. And Senior Day, Carter Finley against our rival.
In NFL football last night, the Houston Texans regained first place in the AFC South, rebounding from Sunday's 41-7 loss in Baltimore as they beat the Colts last night 20-17. Duke gets its first victory since moving to the top of the AP Men's College Basketball Poll, as we hear from Tom Merriam.
Top-ranked Duke remained unbeaten by routing previously undefeated California 87-52 in the 2K Empire Classic at Madison Square Garden. Freshman Vernon Carey Jr. carried the Blue Devils to victory by scoring 31 points, 21 by halftime, when Duke pulled away to a 40-21 lead. Carey also pulled down 12 rebounds and blocked 4 shots for the Blue Devils, who are now 5-0. Cal, now 4-1, did not have a player scoring double figures. The win put Duke in Friday's final against Georgetown, which earlier upset previously unbeaten Texas 82-66. I'm Tom Merriam.
Claude Giroux had 2 goals, 2 assists, leading the Philadelphia Flyers past the Carolina Hurricanes last night 5-3. Morgan Frost had a goal and an assist in his second NHL game, helping the Flyers stop a 4-game slide. Webb Simpson has the lead at the last tournament of the year on the PGA Tour, the RSM Classic. You're listening to NCN Sports.
We've all heard about how difficult divorce can be. So when my husband and I made the tough decision to go through that process, we were both expecting the worst. We thought it was going to involve a lot of stress, time, and money. But you know what? It was actually pretty easy. We came across an online service called One Stop Divorce. They offer a simple process that over 500,000 couples have used successfully for their divorce papers. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it works. With One Stop Divorce, we didn't pay any attorney fees, just a flat fee of $2.99. Plus, all we needed was a computer, tablet, or smartphone, and the experts at One Stop Divorce guided us through the process. Yes, it was that easy. Listen, divorce doesn't have to be difficult. If you don't want the stress, expense, or heartache, just do what we did. Go to onestopdivorce.com. That's onestopdivorce.com.
One Stop Divorce, just a flat fee of $299. One Stop is not a law firm and does not provide legal advice.
Upon further review, Myles Garrett's punishment will stick. The NFL has upheld the indefinite suspension levied against the Cleveland Browns defensive end for his action against Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph last week. He's banned for at least the final 6 regular season games and any potential playoff games involving the Browns. Major League Baseball widening its investigation of alleged sign stealing by the Houston Astros and will probe activity by the team over the past 3 seasons. Commissioner Rob Manfred says Major League Baseball will investigate the Astros situation as thoroughly as humanly possible. That probe includes the team's firing of an assistant general manager during the World Series for clubhouse comments directed at female reporters, behavior that the club first accused Sports Illustrated of fabricating. I'm Tony Rixby, NCN Sports.
Friday afternoon, isolated to scattered rain mainly in our northern counties, and high temperatures back in the low to mid-60s. More rain is likely on Saturday, especially Saturday afternoon and evening. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
We're still at 52 degrees. Started out at 51, haven't moved very much. 52 right now, warming up to 64 with the possibility of some isolated showers developing today and tonight. About a 50-50 chance tonight. Looking for that extended forecast. All the rain goes away by Sunday evening. Monday, Tuesday looks like it's going to be sunny with temperatures around 57, dropping back to 33, 35 at nighttime. Thursday looks like a pretty good day for us. We'll watch that weather for you. 52 degrees right now at 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the management and staff of WCAB. Now here is Word of Faith Responds.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for listening. We're so glad that you have listened to these programs and you're with us today. And this is Mark with Word of Faith Fellowship, and we're sharing with you the good news about Jesus Christ, all the wonderful things that Jesus has done in our lives at the Word of Faith Fellowship. We've been coming on this program now for going on 2 years, and we have had many people from our church sharing their testimonies. I think we're now over 200 people from our church sharing how God has brought them through so many things, and He's brought them through, and they're here testifying of the power of God that changed their lives. And today I have 2 more people. We just keep coming, and so many people want to share with you the wonderful things about Jesus. So I have Alice Sabatino with me, and she is actually the bookkeeper at my law firm. That's Farmer and Morris Law. She's been there with us for many years. She does a fantastic job keeping all of our books straight, which I'm sure is a big job, but she is a wonderful person to have with us. We love having her, and she's such a blessing. And also her daughter is here, Mary, and she is actually a dental hygienist. Both of them came here from New York originally, and then by way of Leland, Wilmington area. Leland's near Wilmington on the coast there. So they're going to share with you some very important things about God's journey that God brought them through in their lives, and it's a wonderful testimony, so let's listen. So Alice, you want to start?
Yes, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jim, for having us. Good morning to our listeners. Ever since we have been doing the radio programs, I've carried to come and share, and God has done many, many things for me over the years, miracle after miracle. But there was one area that I really felt like I was supposed to share. The delivering power of God in my life from something quite debilitating that I suffered for many years. So I'll go back just a little bit to my childhood. My mother would tell this story about me when I probably was just a toddler because I was in a stroller. She said that there were some leaves scuttling next to the stroller, and it frightened me, and I would start to cry. And that story was told to me several times, and it was always in the context of that I was a fearful child. Okay, that I don't remember that, right. but it just kind of stuck with me. I had fear, and so I moved on from there. Don't remember too much about any of that, and I think I was under 10 years old. I was young when the horror movies came out in the 1950s. I really don't even want to say their names. They're just horror monster movies. Mm-hmm. And my parents didn't know, to guard us about what we were doing or where we were going. And the movie theater was only a couple of blocks from where we lived. So we were just allowed to go, and it was at night. And I must say that these movies affected me for a number of years. As a child, I was very frightened by what I saw, and I had my own bedroom back then. I had 2 younger brothers, so they had their own bedroom, and I slept alone. And the torment that would come after me at night after seeing these movies, it went on for several years. So then from there, I went to high school, and I started having thoughts of that I just wasn't good enough. Just these thoughts were coming to me. I just wasn't good enough. And I was always a good student. I always applied myself. I always had good grades. And it was, by the time I was a junior and a senior, there was a competition going on with us, just me and several other girls, who could get the top grade in every single class and every single test. So I strived and strived and strived to make the best mark, because after all, what would people think of me if I didn't do my best, if I wasn't the best? So there was always that feeling like I just wasn't good enough, and this was my way of saying, well, at least I can do this, So by the time I graduated from high school, I remember the day of graduation, I was like physically and mentally exhausted from that push of trying to do my best. And I graduated top in my class of 100 girls. So, but there was a price to pay for what I did. So then from there, the beginning of really the torment that I really went through with fear, I was about 19 years old, and I remember I was sitting in a place, and all of a sudden this feeling came over me. I didn't know what it was. It was kind of, it's hard to explain. It was kind of like an unreality feeling. I was like looking around, and like everything just seemed strange at that moment. It wasn't exactly a lightheaded feeling. That's all I can think of is I just started looking around, and just things just didn't look weird to me. And so I thought, what is that? You know, what is that all about? And I know the Bible says that you should take every thought captive and find out if that thought is from God or where is that thought coming from. And I didn't know that at the time. And I know our Pastor Jane, she teaches all it takes is one thought for you to go down into a path of destruction. And that's what happened to me that day. So from there, I don't know exactly the time frame, but the torment from that, I started having more fearful thoughts, and more symptoms were happening to me. It happened probably over several years. I was dizzy. I had a rapid heartbeat. My vision became very sharpened. Like it was just the weirdest sensations that I was having, and then I had more of these unreality type feelings, and it was very tormenting to me because I did not understand what was happening. I couldn't understand it. I just wanted to know what was wrong with me. So from there, what I know now, what people call are panic attacks, I did not know that then. I had no idea what they were. I just knew that these things were happening to me. So if I went into the grocery store and I had one of these, I didn't want to go back to that grocery store because I was afraid it was going to happen again. Or if I went to the post office, or if I was sitting in church, or if I was at work, if this happened to me, I had like major fear that it was going to happen to me again, because I didn't understand, Mark. I just didn't understand what was going on. So after a number of years of this, they would wax and wane, let's put it that way. Sometimes they would be worse. I would have worse episodes, and sometimes it was okay. I could function, so to speak. And but after all of so many years of that, I began to think, especially in the worst episodes, that I kept hearing, "You're going insane. You're losing your mind. You're going insane. What are people going to think of you? How are you going to explain this?" And at that point, I had my I was married. I had my children. My children were small, and it terrorized me. That thought terrorized me, that I was losing my mind, that I was going insane, and I didn't, because all of my physical symptoms lined up with it. The dizziness, the rapid heartbeat, this sharpened vision, this total feeling of unreality that I was going through when this was happening to me. It was like proof that, yes, I was going insane. I was losing my mind. So I just wanted to know what was wrong with me, Mark. I had no answers, none.
Was there anything that would trigger this in you, or would it just come randomly, wherever you were? Sometimes you didn't know it was coming, but all of a sudden it would come on you.
Well, at that point, the fear was so intense that if I would go into a place, I would think, well, this is going to happen to me. It's probably going to happen to me. And sure enough, of course, it would. Right. So, but anyway, I had... all those years, I just wanted to know what was wrong with me. I went to, at one point, I went and I saw a medical doctor, and, he just kind of looked at me. I told him what was wrong, and he just looked at me, and he prescribed me some Valium. So I took that for a little while. It like put a Band-Aid on the problem. And, the one pill might have lasted 4 hours, just like when you take an aspirin, At the end of the 4 hours, all that was back at me. Yeah. So there was really no cure, with the Valium. And so that wasn't my answer. I knew it wasn't my answer. And then at another heightened period, I went and saw a counselor. I'm not sure what his credentials were, Mark. I really don't know if he was a psychologist or a psychiatrist, whatever. And I only went to him a couple times, and he was trying to lead me down this path that I had all this anger in me, and I had to acknowledge all this anger, And I would leave there, and I would think, what does anger have to do with all this fear that's coming after me? I just thought that was not my answer. Okay, so one day, Phil, my husband, he was at work. My children at this point were both in school. And it was an afternoon that it was very, very intense. All I can say was the thoughts and the unreality and the rapid heartbeat and all of that. It was extremely intense. And you've heard of excruciating pain. Mm-hmm. Well, these thoughts were excruciating. The torment, that's all I can think of was, it was more than torment. It was excruciating thoughts. And I started to hear, why don't you just end it all? Why don't you just end it all? And the torment was so bad that that's all I wanted was the torment to end. I just wanted it to end. I just wanted it to end. I didn't think about my children. I love my children. They were my life, my husband, my life, my family. I loved my family. But it had nothing to do with them at that moment. The torment was so extreme that all I wanted to do was just stop this, stop, And that's when I started to hear, why don't you just end it all? But I was too afraid. I was too afraid to even take my own life, at that point. So, when I hear that someone has committed suicide, right away, it just is like, it hits me like, it didn't have to be that way. Right. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, you didn't have to do that. God could have helped you. You didn't have to do that. And then I think about the families and what they might feel. I could have done more. What could I have done to stop this? Or maybe an anger at the person, their loved one that took their life. An anger like, why did you do that to me? And then I think back, what happened to me, I couldn't even think about my family. I couldn't think about my children and my husband that I love dearly. All I could think about was what was going on in my head, the torment that was so excruciating. So we'll move on from there. And
were you going to church anywhere at this time?
Well, we were in church on and off at this time. I was raised a Catholic. When I met my husband, we started going to the Methodist church. I left the Catholic church when I was 18 for reasons that would be too much to go into for this time span. And I started going to church with him, and I was starting to learn about God and the Bible, which I knew nothing about. And it was like bringing hope to me at that time. But then we left that church and we moved. We moved about an hour away and had started attending another church. So we were in church on and off at that time. But I didn't know God, Mark. I didn't know that there was a God that could help me. There was no, and I still had, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? So I just want to say that in Psalm 102, God says that I regard the plea of the destitute. I will not despise their prayer. I was destitute. I was destitute. I was hopeless. I was helpless. There was nothing that I could do. Just the torment was excruciating. So at that time, my daughter became involved with friends down in a church in Leland, North Carolina, and that church was affiliated with Word of Faith up here, you know. So I started receiving their teaching tapes. And the pastor in that church in Leland was teaching exactly what our pastor Jane up here was teaching about crying out to God for help, you know, out of a place of desperation in your heart. You know, I just started learning that God could help me, Mark. You know, he could help me. So all I could do on some of those days of torment was I just cried out to God. I said, Jesus, help me. Jesus, help me. Jesus, help me. And really, I did not know that as I was crying out to him, that he was working in my circumstances. He was changing our circumstances. He was making a way for me to come to North Carolina and be set free. That was the ultimate plan of his. And all I did was ask him to help me. That's all I did was cry out to God. Sometimes it felt like 500 times a day. That's all I could do. I couldn't think straight. The torment was so bad. So we, you know, too much to go into. God helped us move to North Carolina from New York. We left everything. My husband and I, we left our jobs. We left our home of 20 years. We left our family. And at this point, Mary was already here in North Carolina. And so we moved, and that was in April, and in September there was a Bible school starting in that church in Leland. And I knew that I hadn't worked. You know, I had quit my job. I hadn't worked those number of months, so the panic kind of eased off a little bit. There was really no stress on me at that time. But I knew when I started Bible school that I was going to have to get a job. We needed to work, you know. My husband and I, we needed jobs, you know, to pay our bills, you know. So I could feel the stress coming back after me. Like, how am I going to work? How am I going to work if I have these attacks coming at me? How am I going to find a job someplace? So help me, Jesus.
So you were at the Bible school. You're having these thoughts.
Yes. So we started Bible school in September. And it was only the first few weeks that we were in Bible school. I remember standing in the foyer. We were on a break. It was, you know, we just had a little break in between the classes. It was a morning Bible school, 9 to 12, and we were on a little break. And I remember being out in the foyer, and I was looking out the window, and I knew my time was coming, that I would have to find a job, and I could feel that stress coming back on me about that. And I remember standing and looking out the window, not really thinking about anything, really. And all of a sudden, the Spirit of God starts speaking to me. And he starts explaining to me and giving me the answers to the questions that I had, what was wrong with me for the last 25 years. He started saying to me, he said, first thing he said to me, he said, "You are not going insane. It has been your enemy, the devil, coming after you, lying to you. You're not going insane." And then he explained to me how the thoughts of my mind affected my body, my physical body. So it started here with all these fearful thoughts, and then my body lined up with the thoughts. I started having the rapid heartbeat. I assumed the adrenaline was just pumping. I felt dizzy. The sharpened vision, you know, which I later learned is that fight or flight response. Right. You know, you're ready to respond to whatever the fear is, but the fear was irrational. I had nothing to fight against. So he explained to me that my physical symptoms were a normal response to the fearful thoughts that I was giving to. So it was like, oh, my questions were answered, Mark. Yeah. In just those few minutes. The questions that I had for 25 years. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? You're going insane. You're losing your mind. The Spirit of God, in that short period of time, explained it to me. And Mark, that was it. That was it. That was my deliverance. That's all I wanted to know. The truth of God came to me. The voice of God came to me. He told me what it was, and that's all I needed to know. And for the last 25 years, I sit here in my right mind. Sometimes I feel like the demoniac that Jesus delivered of the Legion of Demons, the Legion of Demons, and I sit here in my right mind today. And I am so grateful to God for what he did for me. He'll do it for you. He's no respecter of persons. There's any kind of bondage that you might be in today or someone that you know, tell them Jesus is the answer. He was my answer. He came to me, he helped me, he delivered me, and he can do it for you. And I want to thank my Pastor Jane, whom I love dearly. She's my dear friend. And if it wasn't for her and her teachings and what God showed her on how to help us, I would not be here today. I don't know what would have happened to me.
That's such a powerful testimony, Allison. You know, there's people out there listening that have exactly what you have. They have panic attacks,
Yes.
or they may have anxiety, they may have depression, some of them may have the suicidal thoughts like you had. You know, everybody has the anxiety, everybody can relate to that. You get in situations and that fear and that anxiety is there. And what you've said is such a key. When God spoke to you and there was a word of God that came to your heart, and it was that this is from the devil, and God explained to you that how this was affecting your body was you were having a thought, the devil is coming with this thought, and you were really agreeing with the thought, and then you would panic. And how God was showing you, you know, you started with the verse that says that we should take every thought captive and lead it to Jesus. I love that verse because our thoughts are so important, and we have to discern, is this thought from God or is this thought from the devil? Where did this thought come from? Because God wants us to have his thoughts, and you were obviously listening to the devil's thoughts, and what key that was God spoke to you. This was from the devil, and it was a thought you were taking and you were receiving, and it was affecting your body. And God showed you, don't listen to those thoughts. Take it captive and listen to what God is telling you to do. You don't have to panic. God's going to take care of you. He's going to trust you. So, powerful testimony. I'm sure it's helping everybody because we can all see in our lives, maybe in the past or maybe in the present, all of that fear and anxiety. We don't have to have it.
No.
We can totally trust God. So, well, Mary, we have a little bit of time left, so jump right in and tell us what God's done in your life.
Sure. Like Mark said, I grew up in Western New York, and I remember having just a really happy childhood. I was born and raised in a loving home. I have the best parents in the whole world. I remember just being a happy child, and we attended, like Mom said, we had attended several different churches. And I remember knowing that there was a God, but I didn't really know that Jesus could live inside of me, and that he could, that I could have a relationship with Jesus. And I grew up going to a public school, and I must be honest, public school just about ruined me. It was very difficult. I grew up in the 80s, and in the 80s you said you were picked on. Now they call it bullying. And so I guess I should say I was bullied. And because of that, I had a lot of hurt and rejection. I was always trying to be somebody really like Mom was. I was always trying to fit in. But it was like the thoughts of my mind where I'm not good enough, I'm never going to measure up. And so I always tried to be somebody. And one of the things that I did was I started listening to music, and music became my idol. And I like to say that, you know, I went to bed with it, I woke up with it, I had it in my ears all day long, and it really produced a lot of torment in my life. And my mom had started going to a non-denominational church, and my best friend and her family went there. And I remember liking going to that church, but I also remember that I wasn't quite ready for God. It was like God was starting to draw me, but I wasn't quite ready. And so I spent my teen years in high school always striving, trying to be somebody, trying to fit in. And I had, actually my senior year, I was dating a man who I thought I was going to marry. And he came home over Christmas break, and, you know, all the emotions that can come with Christmas. He broke up with me, and I was devastated. And I just went like just on this downward spiral of depression. And I turned to my music to feel better, but it didn't work. And by the time I was 17, I was a very, very tormented young lady. And spring break of my senior year, my best friend Allison and her family, they invited me to go on a trip to Florida. We were going to go to the beach. And I was very excited about that. I really wanted to go to the beach, never been to a Florida beach. But on the way, we were going to stop in North Carolina and visit her uncle, who was a youth pastor at a church there, a small church there. And so I said, well, that's fine. We can stop there. That's fine with me. And my friend's father looked me square in the eyes and he said, if you go with us on this trip, your life will never be the same. You are going to change. And I remember in all of my hopelessness and all of my torment in my mind, that went in my heart. Those words, and they were from God, those words went into my heart that maybe there was hope for me. Maybe there was light at the end of my very, very dark tunnel. And so we went on the trip and we stopped in North Carolina at this little church. And I remember walking through the doors and they were praying. And I loved it. Now, I need to say that this church was affiliated with Word of Faith. And I loved it. I loved the people. And one of the things that really stuck out to me was there was a lot of young people there that wanted to serve God. I had never seen that before. And being 17 years old, watching other young people that wanted to serve God, and they sang with their whole heart, and they preached, and they prayed for people. It was amazing to me. And so we only were there for a few days, and then we traveled down to Florida to go to the beach. And I didn't want to be at the beach. It was really strange. My friend and I, we begged her father, please take us back to this church in North Carolina. Please, we want to go back and see everybody. Please, we want to go back to church. And I think he was pretty perplexed. I mean, two 17-year-old girls saying they wanted to leave the beach and go back to church. But he cut our Florida trip short and he took us back to that church. And when we got back to the church, we were invited to a youth seminar here in Spindale. It was July of 1991. And of course we wanted to come. And so that was my first time coming to Word of Faith. And same thing with that little small church in Leland. I walked through these doors of Word of Faith and I loved it. I met Pastor Sam and Jane. I met their daughter Robin. I met Mark's wife Holly. And I loved it. God, the presence of God was there. And I had never felt the presence of God like that before. And of course, it was a youth seminar, so there were a lot of young people preaching, teaching, sharing, singing. It was wonderful. And it was then that I just prayed. I started to pray to God, and I said, God, what is your will for my life? I didn't know what it was, but I said, what is your will for my life? I just want to do the will of God. And this was such a miracle for me because I was so worldly. I was so into my music. I was, I had dated on and off. Relationships were important to me, but it was like all of a sudden, all the things that were so important to me did not matter anymore. I just wanted to do the will of God. So in August of 91, my friend Allison and I, we both moved to Leland, and we joined the church there. And we lived there for 16 years. I was there for 16 years. And in 2002, I got married. And in 2006, my husband and I heard from God to move here. And I've got to say, that was the best thing that has ever happened to me, because we were in the will of God and we prayed and we cried out to God. And all the while, all through these years, God's delivering power was there for me. All I had to do was trust Jesus. I mean, even in the depths of despair, even in all my hopelessness that I thought I was never going to come out of, Jesus was there for me. And so we moved here in 2007, and the presence of God is here, and my life has changed. I am so happy. I'm not tormented anymore. I don't have to live in torment. I'm so grateful for that. And God gave me a job. I have the best job. I have the best family. I have a son. It's a miracle, and I'm so grateful. I mean, I've got a deep relationship with some of these people in the church, Robin and Holly. I'm very close to some of these people, and my life has changed. And I just praise Jesus. It is a total miracle for a young girl to want to serve God. And I just want to say that if young or old, I mean, if you're tormented, if there's things that are going on in your life, like even Mom said, the torment, the panic attacks, if there are things that are at you, just cry out to Jesus. That's what we did. We cried out to Jesus, and he was there. He is real. He can come and live on the inside of you. You do not have to be worldly. You do not have to follow the world and be tormented. You can serve God, and I am so grateful to be part of the Word of Faith Fellowship, and I just love everybody there.
And such a powerful testimony, Mary, and what a great word from both of you, and that is that we're going to cry out to Jesus, and he hears our cry. I love that, and both of your testimonies say that today. Whatever is going on in your lives today, everyone that's listening, if you will cry out to Jesus, just like Alice shared and just like Mary shared, if you will cry out to Jesus, he will come and hear your cry. I love the verse that Alice shared. He regards the plea of the destitute, it says in Psalms. He will regard your plea today if you'll cry out to him. So thank you again for listening. This is Mark sharing with Word of Faith Fellowship. We're on this program Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 to 9. Go to our website. We have all of these programs videoed and recorded. Website is wordoffaithfellowship.org. Thank you and have a great day.
Miller.
Israel's prime minister is rejecting the bribery, fraud, and breach of trust charges filed against him by the attorney general. Benjamin Netanyahu called the allegations false, the investigation biased, and the indictment a, quote, coup. He's vowing to continue to lead Israel, and by law, he does not need to step down.
Political ads now banned on Twitter. ABC's Brian Clark has the story.
The social media companies tried to clarify ahead of the ban taking effect today and says anything referencing an elected or appointed official, a candidate, or a political party is not allowed. An immediate gray area is ads specific to issues. Twitter says it will allow ads about topics like the environment, but not anything calling for specific outcomes.
The White House this afternoon is bringing together medical experts, state officials, representatives from the vaping industry. The White House is calling it a White House Vaping Summit. You're listening to ABC News.
Atlantic.